Hello and welcome to another episode of Technical Tea. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, this is a treat for me as much as it is for you. So the normal format of my show, the one that I'm trying to focus on, is when Tea Runners sends me 4 mysterious teas every month, and I drink those teas and try to identify them before revealing what the truth is. I enjoy that kind of deduction, and it hopefully helps me refine my palate and perfect my tea knowledge. But today, we have a good old-fashioned unboxing video. So this is an order that I received from West China Tea Shop. They do this fantastic YouTube series called Gong Fu Tea Cha, where they teach you about Gong Fu brewing and all the different kinds of teas that you can do. It's very high quality, very, very smooth, and the guy who runs it is incredible. He knows a lot, and he's done a lot of things. So seeing that video not only inspired me to make my own show, but also convinced me to purchase some of their tea. And they have this one option called, it's like a expert pick or collector's choice, something like that, where you pay $100 and they give you 200 grams of tea of whatever they decide you will enjoy. You give them some suggestions about what you like, and then their experts over there pick out the rest. So I have no idea what is in this box. And I had kind of a rough week, so I'm not going to do my usual try to guess what tea it is, try to figure things out. Today, we're just going to open up a box and marvel over what's inside like a child on Christmas. And I am so ready. So let's get started. So we have a name. Ignore the address, although if you really wanted to find my address, you should just buy a bunch of my games. They're available online at my store. Anyway, let's see what we've got here. Okay, so first one out of the box. Dragon Head Phoenix Tail. Looks like it's an oolong tea. Comes from Anshi Fujian. Interesting. All right. So let's take a sniff. I don't know what tea we're going to brew yet, but we are going to take a look and sample all of these. Now the tea leaves are going to be a little bit hard to see because of the interior, but I'm going to smell them and try to show them off a little bit. That has a very nice smell. Let me see if you can get any of that. Any of the tea leaves. You might not be able to make it out. That's okay. I really like that. It has like almost a smooth, sort of fruity smell. It's hard to get a feel for a tea just from the dry leaves, but you know what? That's okay. We're going to look through all these and then we'll pick 1 or 2 to brew. Next one is Ori. Don't ruin my podcast again. She's curious about what we've got. And she's walking around, clicky-clacking. So this next one is a charcoal roasted Tai Guan Yin, another oolong from the same place, Anji Fujian. Let's take a look inside. Charcoal roasted makes me think that it'll have somewhat of a smoky flavor, which I hope. It's not as strong from the dry leaves. Very mild smell. I bet if we brew it, though, it'll be something special. Again, I don't know if you can tell, but that's exciting. All right. Excited about that. Let's see what else. Man, so many. I'm so happy. Ooh, so they have a couple pu'ers. The one that I've been looking at is this one called Rain Butter. It's a choux pu'er. from Nanuo Mountains. It has like a very sort of dusty attic sort of impression to it. Like that. Yeah, like that peaceful, dusty attic. Oh, man. That's going to be tasty. All right, let's see what else we've got. Here, I'll move the package out of the way, and I'll just put the ones that we've opened so far so that you can kind of see the progress that we're making. Okay. So, next one. The name of this is horse meat oolong. That sounds awful. Oh my gosh. I'm going to wait for my dog to stop walking around. Come here, Rory. Come up here. Good girl. You're sleepy, aren't you? Aren't you sleepy? Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Good girl. So yeah, this is a horse meat oolong from Wuyi Mountains. Let's try and take a little sniff. A little sniff. I mean, obviously it doesn't smell like meat. And again, it's hard to get a sense from the dry leaves, but again, I'm picking up some like slight floral notes. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but that's what the tea leaves look like. I'm extremely curious to try that out and see where it gets its name from. Here we go. This is the one I was most excited about. The only tea that I specifically requested was a little bit of tea called Thunderstruck. And I'll post a link below so you can hear them talk about this tea themselves, but the story goes that the the tea plant that creates these leaves was struck by lightning, and they cloned it, and it has like such a unique flavor. Again, I don't know how true that is, but it's such a cool story. I don't care. I want to try some. I was talking with my wife and said that the story is what sells this stuff, because like I'm not good enough to know quality yet. So I'm just interested in trying weird stuff and exciting stuff. This has a nice smell. It tastes a little bit more bitter than some of the other stuff I've seen. Also an oolong. This shop seems to specialize in oolongs and pu'ers, which is nice. And this is our last one. Let's take a look at what we got. This is called Phoenix Shuixian. I probably butchered that. Another oolong. Let's take a sniff. Oof, this is heavy. It smells like a really thick, heavy green tea almost, but it's definitely been oxidized a little, so interesting. All right. Well, that unboxes all the tea from the West China Tea Company. Now we just have to decide what we want to drink first. I know I'm going to drink the Thunderstruck. That is the one I'm most excited about. And as for the other, I think we have to try some of the horse meat, just because that sounds amazing. Sorry for the moment of quiet. The AC turned on, and now I'm probably going to have to tweak my audio a little bit to get rid of that background noise. Oh well. All right, so let's pour some of this Thunderstruck. One of the other reasons I bought from the West China Tea Shop is because their videos almost all feature really high quality tea, like full leaves. I don't know if you can tell in this bag, but there's a lot of extra air in here so that the tea leaves aren't crushed or ruined. You can tell this tea has been handled with great care, that they've been careful to keep everything from being bent or twisted or broken as much as they can. And I'm really curious if that affects the tea flavor to a degree that I can tell. So this should be enough for now. Let's wake up the tea. All right. So from my understanding, oolongs are somewhere in between a green tea and a black tea, or a green tea and a red tea, as they're called in China. In the West, we call them black teas. In the East, they call them green teas. Whoa, look at that color change. All right, so after our first steeping, we're going to pour the rest out. We're going to save it. I'll probably drink it later while I'm editing this episode. But we're going to save it to the side in this little vessel. I guess that's out of the way. I don't want it to be a pain. But after the tea leaves have had some hot water, they really start to unfold and release their flavor. It's called waking up the tea. So that's why we do that. And we discard it so that our first tasting will be a full flavored tasting. And the wet leaves always give you some really interesting impressions of the tea you're about to drink. So from this, I get that sort of toasted green tea smell with some slightly floral notes. It's kind of hard to tell. Let's give this a nice steeping. So while we let that steep, I'm going to sort of make a quick PSA and say that the West China Tea Company, once again, they produce this incredible YouTube show where they feature their teas. They talk about how to brew tea, how to prepare your equipment, some of the history behind the tea. They tell stories about where they buy it, where it comes from. It's extremely engaging. I highly recommend you check it out. I know that they're also trying to save their tea shop. They're trying to fundraise some money, drum up some support. So if you do like what you see here, you may as well order a batch from them and check out their YouTube channel, see if you like it. So we've got a very clear liqueur. Looks pretty subtle. I can smell it from all the way over here, though. Yeah, it has a sort of strong, excuse me. It has a nice, strong smell. It's got that sharpness of a green tea with some of the bitterness of a red tea. Let's take a drink. This is a very bold flavor. I guess I could say it's subtle. It's not as subtle as some of the other ones we've tried, but it definitely has like a strong body to it. It's kind of hard to pick out the individual flavors from the mild green tea flavor. I'm not explaining it well. Yeah, it's got like a very mild range of flavors, but a very strong, solid core, I guess. There's like maybe a little hint of some floral or honey notes, but I'm curious to see if more of that comes out. And it may be I didn't use enough tea. That is definitely something we could work on. We're going to try to steep this a little bit longer than usual, see if that helps. So we don't want to steep it too long. I want there to be long enough for the strong flavors to come out, but I don't want it to turn bitter and to just ruin whatever subtlety is there. So the liqueur is a little bit darker this time. Now some of the flavors are starting to come out. Let's see. Yeah, I think less of like honey or floral. This has more of a herbal kind of flavor to it. like a rose petal tea or something. But it's pretty mild. I would guess I was expecting something stronger because of the story. That's probably my own bias. But I enjoy this flavor. It's very smooth, very easy. I really like the experience. Yeah. And it's very, very bold, very strong. Just kind of like lands right in the middle of the flavor spectrum of some of the oolongs that I've had before. I think oolongs are really good for my palate because I tend to rely on really strong, blunt flavors. Earl Grey is very citrusy. It's got the black tea bitterness. Pu'er has like a strong, earthy flavor. And I rely on those because it makes me walk away from the tea thinking I've had an experience. But that's not really true. I want to experience more of the subtlety and the nuance that can be found in these varieties. And I think this one is sort of on the edge. It's not subtle. It has a nice, strong flavor, but I feel like I'm not picking up as many of the notes as I should. And again, it could be a problem with my own expectation because I love a good story, and being able to finally drink this tea is kind of an exciting adventure for me. Let's try our third steeping. Yeah, it's almost sweet. It's got like a very sort of hearty, bold, sweet green tea flavor. No bitterness. There's very little bitterness in this cup. I really enjoy some of the subtlety from that. That's good. I like that a lot. All right. So, that is what we have for the Thunderstruck tea. It's a nice oolong. Let's do a little cleanup. And I love how the colors on those leaves have changed. I think that's really pretty. Right. Also going to give the Gaiwan a brief rinse, just real quick. Just like that, we're ready to go. So I feel like, oh no, water everywhere. Don't pay attention to my weird cloth-covered hand. So I feel like we have to try the horse meat oolong. I have to know what that's about. I need to see what the deal is with this. So let's take a look at the leaves. There we go. I'm going to add just a hint more, just a teeny weeny bit, so that I make sure I get the full blast of whatever this is supposed to be. All right. So we're going to do one quick rinse. There we go, to wake things up. Whoa, immediately we're getting some darkness. Maybe I did add too much. So this was another oolong. I am really excited to try more oolongs. I think that'll be really good for me. Here's the other cup. All right, let's rinse this off. let's enjoy the wet leaves. So they've darkened quite quickly. I mean, that looks like a red tea. Very dark leaves. Oof, strong, bitter, smoky flavor. Wow. This almost smells exactly like coffee. Oh my goodness. All right, I am really interested in how this will taste. Let's give this some water. Rinse off the dangling bits. All right. So we're not going to let this steep for very long because I can tell it is a really strong, heavy tea right off the bat. Let's smell the liqueur. Oof, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's almost overwhelming. This is extremely bitter, extremely strong. Like coffee. That is the thing I keep coming back to. Let's drink it. So the smell is way stronger than the taste. The taste is very dry. It has like not necessarily a smoky flavor like smoked meat, despite the name, but it has like a dry charcoal flavor. It feels like it's draining the moisture out of my mouth. Extremely dry, subtle smoky hints, extremely bitter. Wow, that is something else. I can't quite decide if I like it or not. It's so strong. Oh my goodness. Wow. A friend of mine has been looking for a kind of tea that she can replace her coffee with. And I've recommended, matcha, some pu'ers, that kind of stuff. But I wonder if this would be a good fit. Because it's so strong. Whew. And it's an oolong, so it still has, it's not as oxidized. It'll still have some of those tannins, some of those health benefits that you would get from like a green tea. But I wonder how they process this tea. It's got to be processed. I shudder to think of a natural tea plant that could make a tea like this. I mean, maybe it's possible, but that'd be wild. It feels like it's been smoked or baked or something. Wow. Whew. I think it's just getting stronger. Maybe I did use too much. Oof. Yeah, it's got notes of charcoal. It's bitter like coffee. It has that same sort of aftertaste. After you drink coffee and you breathe out of your nose or your mouth, you get that like rush of bitterness from the dry roasted coffee. This has that same feel. I wonder how this would be with a little bit of milk. Normally I don't add milk or sugar to my teas, but this stuff is so strong. It's so bitter. I wonder if it would go well with some milk, maybe a little bit of sugar to help bring out some of the notes. Wow. All right, this is our third steeping. Let's give that a shot. Man, that's wild. Wow. I might have to order some more horse meat because it's just such a unique experience. I know a lot of coffee drinker friends who might jump at the chance to try something like this. But to someone who's trying to broaden his palate, who's trying to try something more subtle, who's trying to pick out like the floral notes in some of these, this is like getting smacked in the face with a bag of charcoal. It's wild, y'all. Again, not bad. I like the subtlety. I can see this being good on like a really cold day if you want your body to sort of experience that campfire, early morning campfire experience. But where the lapsang I've tried has a smoky smell and flavor, it also has almost a sweet liqueur aftertaste and sort of notes of like this sweet, smooth whiskey flavor. This is just all burnt charcoal, wood. Ooh, that is really strong. I'm going to steep one more because I think that's like the last of my water. Oh, I've got a little bit more water. Let's see if this smooths out after a couple more steepings. This will be our 4th steeping. I'm just going to pour that directly into my after cup. All right. And the leaves are just dark black. There's like no color. There's a little bit of brown. All right, that's the last of my water. Perfect. We'll end on a 5th steeping of this. Let's see if it starts to wear out or if it feels like it's just getting started. All right, let's give it a shot. So I steep this one quickly. It's also the 5th steeping. Let's see if a milder brew can help me pick out some of the notes and flavors. So with a milder brew, the bitterness is not as strong, which is nice. The charcoal smell is there. The charcoal smell is still there. I'm not picking up any other subtleties. Yeah, I'm not getting anything else. That is just a strong tea, y'all. Wow. I kind of want to smell the leaves now after it's been through the ringer a few times. Yeah. It's calmed down a little bit, but not much. Whew. That is incredible. What a crazy experience. Again, I don't hate it, but it's wild. Whew. All right. Well, I think that does it for our West China Tea Company experience. Just a reminder, these are the 2 teas that we tried today. Check out their YouTube channel called Gong Fu Tea Cha. Excellent, excellent stuff. If you like what I'm doing, you're going to love what they're doing even more because he actually knows what he's talking about, and he has like a decent camera crew and very high quality tea that he enjoys on the show. Also, if you enjoyed these 2, I might record a few other flavors, but most of this is just a reward for myself for selling a bunch of games. So if you liked it and you want to support them, I know they're trying to raise money to save their tea house from being closed down during the pandemic. So go ahead and throw a couple bucks their way, maybe put in an order or 2. If you really want to try a strong, dark, smoky, rich tea, definitely check out the horse meat. And if you want a cool story to tell people as you serve them, some very quality, like mild, smooth tea, check out the Thunderstruck Oolong. But that does it for me. As always, I hope you can turn this digital experience into a real one with you and your friends, or with just a quiet morning. Thanks for joining me, and have a good week.